How you feeling today, Lewis?
Hello there in internet land. This is episode 17 of the F1 chat. Apparently I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Sitting to my left is a man who, I don't have anything funny to say. He's just sitting there saying, don't swear. And that's JB. JB, how are you?
Well, it couldn't be any less funny than McLaren's strategy call. Except maybe Ferrari's strategy call.
I was going to say that.
That was hilarious. No, I'm good. It's a good Monday evening, boys.
Yeah, sitting all the way to my right is a man who's very happy because one of his Williams drivers did all right, and that is Longhorn. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. After that, another points finish. Fastest car in Sector 1. Things are on the up here. Things are on the up, and we're not Ferrari strategy calls. So, if you're better than that, you're doing all right. Which is not hard, but...
Oh, yeah. And making his long-winded return to the F1 chat is Mr. Barry R. Enchilada. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm good, fellas. I'm good. Good to be back, finally.
He bribed us to get back on by providing us with pulled pork, so...
It was a nice pulled pork.
It was nice pulled pork.
It was. Pulled pork and Corona. Well done, mate.
And it will work every time.
Except if I'm making McPhil burgers like I did last week.
You can
For
sprinkle
the
some.
mid-season special, the mid-special extravaganza.
You can sprinkle some on the top, mate.
Yeah, you both might have to compete for mine and JB's love. So,
Fight!
it starts now. What are you bringing next, potty?
Right. Well, the pulled pork was probably a lot better than that goddamn race. That's for sure. That was a boring race.
You reckon?
You know what? I thought maybe initially, but only because I was falling asleep at 1 a.m. But, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was initially.
You boys, because I fell asleep through the whole thing last night, and you guys told me it wasn't a great watch. But after rewatching it today, I thought the race was actually quite good. The only thing that made it boring was that you knew Verstappen was going to win on lap 6. Other than that, I thought the race, if you focused on everything else other than who was going to win, I thought it was a decent race.
Well, maybe it was the constant DRS chains.
Yeah.
That might have been the diminishing factor on this one.
We might have to talk about this a bit later, but I was actually chatting to JB earlier about the DRS trains and what we can do to sort of stop them forming. The only thing we could sort of discuss was you just have to take DRS away. Because it does sometimes, as those trains sort of take out the...
They nullify it.
Yeah.
You're just as fast as the car in front.
Unless you're driving a McLaren, then you're not as fast as the car
It's just as fast as the car behind you. Like, unless you're a Williams, in which case 4 cars behind you have DRS and you're pulling away still.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one of them was a McLaren.
Yeah.
How many?
Just saying.
Ricardo was chasing him for a while.
It's true.
And so was Norris.
Yeah,
It was both of them.
it was.
And an Aston Martin.
What's your point?
That's
What's your
four
point?
cars
They couldn't catch the.
powered by Mercedes.
They couldn't catch the Williams, also powered by Mercedes, with
Yeah.
DRS.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Williams just found the sweet spot in the setup. I suppose.
They must have taken a little bit extra paint off their cars, an extra carbon fibre.
Whatever they did this weekend,
Panel.
they got it right, that's for sure.
Yeah.
With Albon.
Yeah.
Not
You can't
the
get-
TV.
you can't get anything right with the TV. But
You mean you can't get anything right with King Latifi?
yeah.
He just likes getting lapped because he's like, I have to do one less lap than everyone else. How great.
You guys are fools doing more laps than me. Did you guys know you could do a lesser lap than everyone?
Saving my engine for when it matters. Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, but also he manages to save more petrol in his fuel tank for the FIA.
Because he's eco-friendly.
Yeah,
I'm saving the environment by producing 1 lap less fuel.
exactly.
He's an eco-friendly driver. Jesus Christ.
Speaking of eco-friendly drivers, we have got Longhorn with the F2 report.
You do. You've got me.
Yes.
So
Wow, that was really professional of me to throw it to you.
I'm trying to work out why I'm eco-friendly, but
I don't know. It's just a nice little segue. I'm still learning these things.
It's because you're an eco boost.
righto. Formula 2, Spa this weekend. We had a good weekend for Formula 2, actually. It's quite some interesting races and sprints and qualifiers and everything Formula 2. So, as always, I'll give you the top 10 for qualifying this weekend. And qualifying on pole, we had Felipe Drugovich, the championship leader. In second, we've got Enzo Fittipaldi. In third, we have Logan Sargent. In fourth, we have Jack Doohan. Fifth, we have Liam Lawson. Sixth, we have David Beckman. Seventh, we have Richard Verschoor. Eighth, we have Theo Pecher. Ninth, we have Jehan Daruvla. And 10th, we have Ralph Boschung. And that gets us into the sprint race. So, I'm going to give you the top 10, and then I'm going to change it up. This is how I'm going to try and do the Form 2 reports from now on. I'm going to give you the results of the top 10, and then I'm going to give you the drivers of the day and the bad luck drivers of the day. So, the results for the sprint race, we got the young Kiwi Liam Lawson winning.
Woohoo!
Good race from him. And in second, we got the young Aussie, Jack Doohan.
Hell
Another
yeah.
good race.
Awesome.
In third, we've got Ralph Boschung. In fourth, we have Felipe Drugovich. Fifth, Richard Verschoor. Sixth, Theo Pecher. Not a great day for him, which I'll get to. Seventh, Marcus Armstrong. Eighth, David Beckman. Ninth, Ayuma Iwasa. And 10th, Dennis Hauger. So, my drivers of the day. Of course, it's Liam Lawson. Started from fifth. He took the lead on the first lap, and he just never looked back. It was a really strong race from him. Something he probably wanted to do after getting some free practice time this weekend in the AlphaTauri. So, putting his foot forward for maybe a seat next year or, a seat in the future. My next driver of the day was Felipe Drugovich. And the reason for this was he pitted for softs on a safety car, dropping from 6 to 12. So he took a gamble. He was the only one inside the top 10 that took this gamble. Dropped him to 12th, but the gamble paid off as he made his way through the grid up to 4th on the last 4 laps. So we had a safety car that was they were concerned that it might see out the rest of the race, but so he took the gamble where everyone else was like, "Oh, we might not even get racing back." They managed to clear the track in time. He got 4 laps and he just stormed through the grid. He made it work and he come from 12th up to 4th as he was sitting at 6 at the time he pitted. So worked out, and it was a ballsy move, and yeah, it was good to watch.
Did they let all the cars unlap themselves, or just the 5?
Michael Massey's sitting at home like the Leonardo DiCaprio, me, like pointing at the TV.
Some team principal sitting there going, "No, Mikey, no, no, Mikey, it's so not right."
My next driver of the day is young Aussie Jack Doohan. He started from 7th and he finished 2nd, so another good performance from him. Now, bad luck drivers of the day. We've got Jehan Daruvla, who didn't even start the race.
What?
Didn't even race, and I can't find out why. I have not been able to track down why. He just didn't race.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a reason, but I didn't hear it anywhere in the commentary, and I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. But
He probably got dumped by McLaren.
maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
My next bad luck driver of the day was Theo Pecher. He just couldn't put it together. He locked up his tyres on a couple of laps, and he just couldn't recover from there, and sort of just finished 6th where he started. Where he kind of needs to be. He's in 2nd at the moment in the push for the title against Drugovich, and when Drugovich is having a strong weekend, Pecher really needs to be up there with him, otherwise he might pull away. So it just wasn't the best sprint race for him. And after that, we've got Logan Sargent, who lost the rears on lap 11 at Pouhon and crashed into the wall, causing the yellow flag, which Drugovich took advantage of. But,
Damn, he's dropped off lately, Logan Sargent.
Yeah, it
He
wasn't.
had that big streak of like wins and pole positions, and he looked great.
Yep.
Now he's just...
It wasn't a good weekend for him overall, and either was it for Theo Pecher, as I'll get to in the next race, which is our main race. So, once again, I'll give you the results of the top 10 and my drivers and bad luck drivers. So, taking home the win, the young Australian, Jack Doohan.
Good job,
Putting
kid.
in an awesome weekend of racing. In second, Felipe Drugovich doing his best to keep his championship tilt pushing forward. In third, another strong finish for Liam Lawson. So, strong weekend from those 3 drivers that I've named so far. A really good, strong weekend. In fourth, we had Richard Verschoor. In fifth, we had Enzo Fittipaldi. In sixth, we had Logan Sargent. Seventh, we had David Beckman. Eighth, we had Ayuma Iwasa. Ninth, we had Yuri Vips. 10th, we had Clement Novalak. Now, our drivers of the day, obviously, first up, we've got Jack Doohan. Just got a great start and, just kept up in there, managed to win the race. Just a really, really good weekend, and especially with that Alpine seat opening up, it's a good time to be really showing in your rookie season.
It was good to see him in the Alpine garage too during the Grand Prix as well.
That was really, really cool.
That's a good thing.
Yep, that's cool. So, great weekend for him. My next driver of the day is Felipe Drugovich. Just had a really strong weekend, helping his title push, as I mentioned earlier. Doing what you got to do to keep the points flowing. And our third driver was Liam Lawson. He had a really great battle with Fittipaldi. There was actually some really good racing in the main race and the sprint race for F2 this weekend, so definitely worth the watch. He had a really great battle with Fittipaldi and managed to get a podium spot in the third. So, yep, strong weekend for Lawson. Now, my bad luck drivers of the day. I've got Theo Pourchaire. He had engine problems and had to retire on lap 3. So he got a DNF. So just not a great weekend for him in his push for the championship. And then my next bad luck driver was Jehan Jaruvlo, who got hit by Nissan. He actually made this race, so don't know why he didn't make the other, but he was in this race. He got hit by Nisani, which was giving him wing damage. He was in the top 10, looking for a points finish, and getting that got him the black and orange and just ruined his race. So, first race didn't race, and second race finished well outside the points, so not great for him and his push either. So, that's the wrap-up from Formula 2.
I'd love to see if Liam Lawson ever gets stuck in the sand and over the radio goes, "Oh no, I'm Beach Des, bro." I'm Beach Des.
Tell me something I don't know, bro. Have you got a bucket or a hose, bro? I need to get wet. E-sip.
Do you want a chip, bro? No,
Just
only
a chip,
plankton.
Only plankton, bro. All right. That's enough of the bad Kiwi accents. We're going to hand it over to JB with the F1 report.
All right. Belgian Grand Prix from Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. All right, lap 1. Carlos Sainz starts on pole alongside Sergio Perez and ahead of Fernando Alonso after Max Verstappen's grid penalty for a power unit change. Sergio Perez loses out big time, dropping behind Alonso and Hamilton. Hamilton makes big contact with Alonso into Les Combes, and he drops out of the race with underfloor aero damage, and also his car was spewing out oil. Lap 2, Nicholas Latifi dips the tyres into the gravel at turn 7 and spins Valtteri Bottas into the gravel, triggering the safety car. Lap 4, Charles Leclerc tells Ferrari he thinks he sees smoke from the front right tyre, and he pits under safety car for a set of medium tyres. Ferrari tell him it was a tear-off in the brake duct. Meanwhile, Nicholas Latifi pits for a new front wing. Lap 5, Carlos Sainz locks up into the bus stop chicane coming off the safety car restart, but gets away with it. Sergio Perez is compromised off the restart as well, but also holds his place. Lap 6, Max Verstappen dives under Daniel Ricciardo for 6th position after starting 14th. Lap 7, Max Verstappen cracks the top 5, passing Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso with amazing pace, while Lewis Hamilton walks back to the pit lane down a dirt track. Lap 11, Carlos Sainz pits from the lead of the race, whacking a set of fresh mediums on. Max passes Sergio, while Carlos Sainz gets stuck for half a lap behind Daniel Ricciardo. Lap 15, Red Bull nail the pit stop for Sergio Perez, a 2.2 second stop, seeing him just keep ahead of Charles Leclerc on track. Lap 16, Max Verstappen stops from the lead of the race for a set of medium tyres, dropping behind Sainz. Meanwhile, George Russell sweeps past Charles Leclerc down the Camel Straight. Lap 18, Max Verstappen retakes the lead of the race down the Camel Straight as Carlos Sainz simply didn't have the pace to keep up. Lap 21, Sergio Perez leaps Carlos Sainz into second with Red Bull running 1 and 2. Lap 26, Carlos Sainz pits again for hard compound tyres. Charles Leclerc follows his teammate in for a set of mediums. Lap 31, Max Verstappen stops from the lead of the race for medium tyres, but he leaves the pit lane still in a commanding first position. Lap 43, Charles Leclerc stops for soft tyres to go for the fastest lap, but embarrassingly not only loses a spot to Fernando Alonso initially, getting him on the last lap, but also does not get the fastest lap regardless. And lap 44, Max Verstappen wins the Belgian Grand Prix dominantly from Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez and Ferrari's Carlos Sainz. And then post-race, Charles Leclerc is given a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, dropping him to 6th. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton is noted by the FIA for not going to the medical centre after his shunt triggered the G warning light in his car. And also, finally, Max Verstappen got driver of the day and fastest lap.
In 4th place was George Russell for Mercedes. 5th place was Fernando Alonso in the Alpine. 6th was Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. 7th was Ocon in the Alpine. 8th was Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin. 9th was Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. And coming in 10th was Alex Albon in the Williams.
Nicely done.
So, the race, at the start I said this race was pretty boring, and I think that might have been an overstatement of it. I think it wasn't quite as boring as a lot of people made it out to be. I think it...
I think it was just boring because there was no challenge for thirst. So if you were looking at that, you know, it was quite boring because...
Yeah, it felt like the last 7 odd years of Lewis Hamilton, really.
Yeah.
Where it's just him just skating off into the distance, which oddly enough brings me to Alonso's little quote.
Call of the year, by the way.
Yeah, what an idiot. Closing the door from the outside. I mean, we had a mega start, but this guy only knows how to drive and start in first.
Correct.
No animosity lost between Alonso and Hamilton.
Nail, meet hammer.
Yeah.
He got asked about that after the race. I was looking at it today, and he was saying it's unfair that popped up. He said, because when you say things like that in the heat of the moment, that it's only supposed to be between you and your engineer. You're just venting. You're letting off steam.
Yeah.
He says, now I've calmed down and I've looked at it. He says, I don't look at it the same way. He says it's just unfortunate that it's broadcasted live and everyone can hear it.
Yeah, but it's given us the call of the year, so I'm not mad for it.
Yeah.
Keep it up. I want to hear everyone's outbursts when they get...
What he said was essentially the truth, but, you know, we all think it. Like, we've all said, you know, Hamilton's dogfighting skills aren't as good. You know, when he's stuck in traffic, it's not as good. You know, Jesus Christ. He almost did a front flip.
Yeah.
Like, he almost did a Guan Yu show. He almost did a Silverstone and landed on his halo, but...
I can't believe as well Alonso come away from this with no damage that he had to pit for.
Yeah, I can't
He didn't
believe
have to
it.
pit.
He must have, like, perfectly hit his tyre.
Yeah.
Didn't damage the suspension, didn't damage the front wing, didn't even take the carbon lip off the, like, top of his tyre.
Yeah.
Like, it was miraculous that he got away with no damage.
Alonso broke... I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but that was Alonso there. The little chip taken off Hamilton's car, because when Hamilton drove into Alonso's side to close the door, his front wheel ended up on there, on the side skirt.
That's why it's amazing he didn't puncture
So he
his
didn't
tyre.
even puncture a tyre. Like, his tyre's literally gone sidewall into the carbon fibre. Although, the rim's there now. Like, that rim's pure carbon fibre as well.
Oh, the wheel cover.
Maybe the wheel cover was the reason it didn't go all the way into the tyre.
But his rear tyre clipped Alonso's front tyre, which is what launched him into the air.
It was rather spectacular.
Yeah.
Might I just add, this was really refreshing as well to see Hamilton out of a race. Even as it happened, I was like, oh, this is nice. He's not going to finish it. Like, when have I not seen Hamilton finish a race?
Oh,
like,
but didn't
good,
Sky,
he's a normal driver like everyone else.
didn't Sky Sports make a spectacle of it, though? They had a cameraman following him up the dirt road, and he was standing on the side with this really amazing shot that you could only see in a movie like Rush, of him standing beside his car with smoke billowing out of it and his arms folded. And you're like,
I'm pretty sure I saw that exact same shot in Rush.
yeah.
I liked the part where he had the fire extinguisher out, but Sky Sports decided not to show that part. Which is odd for them, because it would have been like, oh, Lewis is like helping the marshals.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can we spin this?
Yeah.
Lewis is the hero again.
You've been waiting to say that, haven't you?
Yep.
You've built that up for a while.
Yep.
I don't know. This is what happens when you walk into the paddock wearing a weird mask and an orange suit.
Oh, what was that, eh? Jeez.
Looked like
I've
old
learned
red
not to
velvet
question.
rug.
I've learned not to question that anymore. It's just
Good
Lewis.
work there, Jimmy.
It's just
Holding back on that one.
It's just Lewis being Lewis.
Yeah, it is, but it's just strange. Like,
But then you also... Try that one again. You also had the crash between Latifi and Bottas.
That was just awkward. That was just Latifi getting on the gravel.
You know, the most awkward thing of that is Latifi loses it. Ankle taps Bottas. Bottas goes in the gravel and is beached. And, like, there was one shot where they showed Bottas sort of sitting in his car saying, I'm beached. You could see Latifi drive past him. Just, oh, yeah, see.
Isn't there a rule? Oh, no, it mustn't be a rule. I thought there was a rule if the marshals get you out, you can keep going. But I think the rule actually is as soon as the marshal touches a car,
Yeah, once Marshall touches the car, you're out.
Yeah. I feel like they should change that rule.
Especially if it's a moment like that where it
If you're,
wasn't his fault.
He had no damage,
your car's not damaged. You're just literally stuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like the safety car's coming out, you're already last.
Yeah,
The marshals
yeah.
should be able to push you out and keep going.
Yeah, I
If your
agree.
engine hasn't stalled and you're able to get back in the race, like, your penalty is
You're
you're
last,
you're
yeah.
last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this incident as well, it wasn't even like Bottas's fault. He had to avoid Latifi
Yeah.
cutting across the bloody
Yeah.
track, you know.
It
So
was on his
And he got
birthday.
ankle tapped.
yeah,
Like,
he literally
his
did
birthday.
ankle tap him.
Because they allow it in the V8 supercars that if you go off and it's a safety car, they can tow you out and then you can continue on your way.
Yeah, I feel like if your car's still running and your car's not damaged and you can get out, like your penalty is your last.
Yeah.
Like
I
you'll,
agree.
you'll have to come into pit and you have to get 4 new tyres on, whatever.
40
Yeah, that's
tyres,
which
front
also
wing.
adds to your penalty. So yeah,
But if your car's able to continue, like there should be more chance for cars to continue in a race like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like George Russell at Silverstone should have been able to continue.
I agree.
Like the race was red flagged. He was running over to check on.
He was
on
doing the
Zoe.
right thing, which
Yeah.
we all want to see.
Wasn't as if he was going over to sign some autographs and high five some people. He was
Yeah.
Or driving
Going in.
around while holding the Union Jack.
Yeah.
You know, after I just put Verstappen into a wall at 51G. But, yeah, we won't bring that one up.
No.
All right, key drivers of the day. These are the key drivers for me. So the first one for me was Max Verstappen. I mean, he started 14th. He just drove through the crowd. He was going through them like poop through a goose.
It was literally like the Mario. You're like, like you just every time you went on board Verstappen, he was overtaking someone. It was just
The amount of drivers that struggled to overtake.
yeah.
He's just like, I'll
like,
show you how it's done.
This is easy. See ya.
Particularly, there was one point where they've got the camera on Leclerc, and he's struggling to get past an AlphaTauri, and then it cuts to Max, and he's just zooming past an Alpine.
It was like Leclerc was 16th trying to get past an AlphaTauri. Max is up in 5th after like 8 laps, and he's just like, bye Alonso, bye Russell. Oh, hey Sergio, can you get out of my way? It's like, oh, it's lap 12 and I'm in the lead of the race.
yeah.
I'm just going to put my feet up and relax now.
I hope the regs aren't going to allow this in the years, but we're in like a little bit of worry of Verstappen just running away with every championship because he's just too good.
Yeah, but
Nah, well, look, he had it. He has a brand new power unit, like,
Yeah, but
and I mean Ferrari's strategy decisions.
and we saw it
really
last
don't
year
help.
with Lewis in Brazil. Like,
yeah, but
you know,
that's what I'm saying. Like, why not just have a new power unit every 2 races if it means you can just power up from
because you get
last?
penalties for it.
What? He still finished
Like it matters.
first.
He
That's what I'm
finished
saying.
He
first.
started 14th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why not just have a new power unit every 2 if it's that much better? Like,
and outpower everyone.
yeah, like, fuck it. I'll start from last because I'm going to power through and come first. Like,
just Rainbow Road it.
Yeah. literally.
Because you can't build 26 engines.
Yes, you can.
yes, you can.
No, you can't.
You can.
You
Your
can't.
salary
you have a
cap's
cost
going to
cap.
be
Yeah, but
gonna be
you,
hurt.
somehow you make it fit in. That's what you do. is
145 million.
You just do 26
All right, Max.
engines.
All right, Max, sit down. I got something to tell you. All right, there's no rear wings. There's no chassis. There's no front wings. Do not damage anything on this car. There's
nothing but
$145 million of power unit in there. That's all you've got.
Well, to be fair, it's not like
we're
Max is...
not designing anything. You're getting no updates. but you're getting a new power unit every weekend like it's 1999.
Why bloody
You mean
not?
Haas last year? It was Haas last year.
Yeah. Well, look, and you can say the same thing about Lewis last year. They were penalised accordingly. Unfortunately, they're in the best car on the grid.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
I'm not complaining about the penalty at all. I'm just saying, like, there isn't a penalty when your power unit, like, it's that good. You just charge your way back up to first. I'm just saying, Verstappen is that good and it's such a... Yeah,
there is a penalty.
Initially, but, like, I'm just saying to you, it's so easy still. Like, I'm not saying you
You're
can change anything. I'm not saying you got to change anything. I'm just saying, like, putting that in and getting a penalty clearly didn't affect anything. So why not do it every chance
Because
you
you're
can?
starting 14th going into, like, the hairpin at Spa.
It's not a problem for Verstappen.
It's a problem. Dude.
You sent me a meme where it literally said he needs to up the difficulty. Like, would you like to up the difficulty? Like,
Have you seen...
that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not complaining about anything. I'm just saying it's so easy for him.
Do I need to show
this
you
gonna be-
2012 Roman Grosjean? As to why starting in the midfield is terrifying at Spa?
Yeah, but that's
They could have easily gone
2012 Roman Grosjean,
They could
not
have-
2022 Max Verstappen.
It could have easily gone wrong.
Oh, it could have. It could have.
And
Yeah,
his
but-
penalty was he had to start 14th, and yeah, it's brilliant. Lewis Hamilton had to start 20th, and he finished first in Brazil. Like it's just the best driver in the best car on a track that he loves.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say it wasn't that it was the best car.
It is the best car, though.
You know, because Lewis Hamilton driving the best car.
Oh,
and
when the
not-
Lewis
and-
Hamilton fans come out at the end of this year and say Max Verstappen won the championship because he was in the best car, I am going to throat punch someone.
Max Verstappen won the championship because he's in the best car. Go, Lewis.
I can't wait for that comment. It's coming too. He only
You
won
know
the
I'm going to post it.
He
right?
only won the championship because he was in the best car.
All I was trying to say is, are we in fear of like Lewis Hamilton domination with Verstappen because he's so good? I'm not saying.
I don't think there's regulations will allow it.
No, I'm just trying to attest to how good Verstappen is. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ferrari had the best car at the start of the year. Now Red Bull's got the best car. Next year, Mercedes are probably going to catch up. McLaren will start getting it right. Hopefully, please
about that.
start getting it right.
Ferrari will start getting strategy calls right.
Oh, don't know about that.
These regulations are limiting enough as to where we will not see 8 years of domination. Max will probably get 2 or 3.
Yeah, because of his talent.
He
for
won.
sure.
He won last one. He'll win this one. He'll have to fight next year.
If Ferrari can get it right.
I'll lay it out now. Max will win this one. He'll have to fight for it next year. He won't have it his own way.
I hope so.
Yeah, he'll be fighting Latifi.
Latifi won't be on the grid.
Yeah.
Latifi won't be on the grid. He'll be fighting Piastri and Lando.
I'll get to that later on. The next driver that I thought did a really good race was Sergio Perez.
I don't know. He seemed pretty damn disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
I watched his post-race interview. He was like, I started in first, and my teammate that started in 14th was like 16 seconds up the road.
Yeah.
He's like, I felt like I could have done more. In equal machinery.
This is what I'm saying. Why how Verstappen is so good? You start there and he beats him by so much.
Maybe 100% power unit is more than we anticipate.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I understand that's the only penalty you can give, but it never seems like a penalty to these top tier cars when they take it and they charge up the grid because their power units are
I
obviously
don't know,
so
Charles
much fresher and
Leclerc
stronger.
didn't charge up the grid.
It's but you see what his strategy
Lando
team
Norris
tried to do
didn't
to him at
charge
the
up
end.
the grid.
Like,
True.
they literally like, oh, we don't want fifth. We want to make this harder for you. Why
That's
secure
for
fifth when we can have sixth? Like,
That's Ferrari's strategy, though. They went with a draggy rear wing
yeah, that's
because they were adamant that the middle sector was going to be where they'd make time up, not realizing that Spa is like 2 massive straights with like a couple of corners in the middle. Like it's all high speed, but But anyway, back to Sergio.
Well, yeah.
he could have done more.
He could have done more. I think he feels like he could have, but he did enough.
Yeah.
He finished second.
Yeah.
Like he did enough. He still got past Carlos Sainz, which was his main rival for the day.
Yeah.
And he did that.
Next driver, Albon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Williams as a whole.
Yes.
Williams as a whole. Whatever
With
that,
Albon.
Whatever that setup was on that car this weekend
It was,
was
a
magic.
rocket.
They got it right.
was
Yep.
magic.
Yeah, he was
And-
great in qualifying, and he was great.
And
in
I was
the
so
race.
happy to see that, even because neither of my drivers finished in the points, but you know what? I was happy to see Albon and Williams get it right.
Yeah.
And they can take that confidence forwards now.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ocon.
Yes.
I
That's-
think
Drove magic.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
2 double overtakes.
Yeah, it was beautiful overtake.
He had himself a day.
This season he's been rather generic, and then this race he showed that he's got something.
He did the Mika Hakkinen on the opposite side.
Yeah.
You're right, he did. In those 2 overtakes he showed to me, I'm like, oh, Ocon, maybe I've got to change my opinion on Ocon being on the grid, because
Ocon
for the longest
can
time
drive.
I've always thought he's just another, like, he's taken up a seat, he's all right. I've never thought of him as anything. And watching that, not that I've changed my view that he's this world champion now, but I was like, hey, if you can pull that off, you got something about you.
Yeah, he's very vanilla.
Yes.
He's
yes.
a vanilla driver.
Look, I had that opinion of him until he won Hungary last year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, he's got something there.
How many years has he been in Formula One now?
A while.
Fair few.
It's got to be
Is it about
like
5
8
years?
years.
Yeah, it'd be 7 years. He took
Yeah.
1
You
year
reckon?
out.
Yeah.
It'd be about 7 or 8.
He's getting there.
Where did he start before he was with Renault?
He was at Force India.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Sergio Perez's teammate.
Yeah, because they kept
India.
crashing into each other.
Yeah. God,
Speaking of crashing into people, the next driver, Fernando Alonso. I think he actually drove a really good race.
he didn't crash. He was crashed into.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. He's still,
Yeah, he drove a good race. Both the Alpines had a good day.
It did.
Yeah.
Both the Alpines had a good
And
day.
they actually showed how good the power unit is on that straight.
They've
Like
got a
it,
good car this year, the Alpine, to build on. Like a decent car.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good starting platform, which questions me is why Fernando's leaving.
That's right, to go to a
Because-
car so much lower down the grid.
because they only offered him a 1-year contract. And also, Fernando said in an interview during the week that they took so long to offer him a contract. And then when he got it, it was 1 year and then ship him off to Le Mans.
Yeah.
And Aston Martin offered him a 2-year contract at Aston Martin in their F1 team.
But doesn't Fernando also want to be competitive?
So he's going to spend 2 years in a less competitive car.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
still end up out of the grid because it's going to be less competitive. It's
Does
not
it
going to be
It
like
probably ruins his legacy.
Oh, yeah, he's like those drivers that don't know that they're past their prime.
Yeah.
But he's
it's time to hang it up.
in the Alpine. He's not.
Yeah.
Right, but in the Aston, he
Aston
will.
Martin, he's going to look average.
He'll be Vettel.
Yeah, he's
Vettel's
gonna
still
be the
great
new
when he
Vettel.
can, but the car limits him to make him like. And is he going to lose? I don't know. Is he going to lose that, like, that urge to race because
No.
you're not competitive anymore?
No,
Like,
he just wants to race in Formula One for as long as he can. He just wants his face out there.
I think
Yeah.
that he'll go to
What was
Aston
the
Martin.
What was the quote? No one in the world thinks Fernando Alonso is a
bigger fan.
is a
Fernando
better
Alonso
yeah.
is the biggest
yeah,
fan. Of we said
Fernando
that.
Alonso is the biggest fan of Fernando Alonso.
Yeah,
Like, it's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no one out there thinks Fernando Alonso's still got it more than Fernando Alonso.
100%.
Have you noticed the longer that the drivers stay in Formula One, the less they care about their hair? Like, you look at Sebastian Vettel, you chuck a flannel on him, give him a tin cup in King's Cross, you'd think he's homeless.
Speaking of which, he's my next driver. I think he actually did really well today.
He's not even looking after his beard anymore. It's all scraggly.
He looks like there's a guy on YouTube called the Hoof GP. And he like does cows' hooves and stuff. And honestly, he's got the same beard and haircut and look as the Hoof GP.
He's a farmer. He's herding cows in his spare time.
Maybe that's Vettel's next venture.
Maybe he's like this whole eco warrior thing is like, I'm just not going to shave.
And there's your eco-friendly driver.
Yeah, well, there's your eco-friendly driver. Absolutely.
He's just becoming a hippie.
Well, yeah. We're going to see him in 5 years. He's been out of the sport for a while. He's just living on like a recycled boat made out of paper and cardboard.
Do you think with Vettel, if he still had a competitive car, he'd still be gunning?
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
I think he's like. I know he's got heaps of other ventures and wants to spend time with his family, but I definitely feel that. I mean, he's had the craziest career. I'm sure we spoke about it, but he went from winning to winning to winning to a bad car. Like, it's not the normal Formula One career. Usually, you start at the bottom, work your way up the grid, then get the powerful car. Where he was like 4-time world champion before he was like by 26. Like,
Yeah,
he
no one has a
started-
career like that.
He
you know?
he gave Toro Rosso their first win.
Yeah. Yep.
He because he started off his first drive in F1 was a fill-in seat at BMW.
Mm-hmm.
Then he drove for Toro Rosso and got their first win. Then won 4 championships at Red Bull. Then they gave him a crappy car and he got beaten consistently by Ricciardo. So he made the move that everyone was just like, oh my God, it's the second coming of Schumacher to Ferrari. And
They quite didn't give him the car.
no,
Even though he put in some
He
really
bottled it in
fights.
2018.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
leading the championship at Germany.
and
they
then
bottled it.
like 2020, they gave him a shitbox car because of
They gave both of them the shitbox car.
and he was, and they dumped him unceremoniously. So you could tell he was a bit bitter about that, and I don't blame him. And then he goes to Aston Martin after Larry Stroll sells him a dummy,
Yeah.
and that's really what it is. Larry Stroll sold him a dummy.
No, the Italian newspapers was ripping him to shreds. He wanted out.
Yeah.
He felt that Ferrari pressure and he got out.
No, but I mean, like, he went to Aston Martin because Larry Stroll promised him, we're going to have a competitive car and whatever.
Yeah, well,
And
yeah.
it's not, because they just can't simply sit there and copy the Mercedes.
And you've got Stroll as the other driver.
Yeah, but they've got
stagnates
that big facility getting built too. They've got their wind tunnel coming online next year, same as McLaren does.
Well, they got Fernando Alonso now, so
Yeah, I don't see the car really
No,
developing
I
with
don't.
Fernando Alonso, if I'm honest.
I don't. I just see it going to crap.
I could
It's-
I could see 20
Crap's not a swear word.
I could see 2032 Sebastian Vettel comes back as the Nico Rosberg, but then he looks like the truth from Grand Theft Auto.
Look, I would rather Sebastian Vettel do commentary from his living room
Oh, hell
than
yeah.
Nico Rosberg.
At least we won't have to hear about that one time he beat 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton.
How much
And
he
then
loves
Same
Lewis.
machinery.
And then sit there and talk about how amazing Lewis Hamilton is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
He's so amazing, even though I hated his guts when we were racing.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Right.
good job, Seb.
Right, so moving on to the news items. The first one is Daniel Ricciardo is leaving McLaren at the end of the season. Apparently,
They bought his contract.
McLaren bought his contract
$30
out.
million, they bought him out.
It's so sad to watch him in all the interviews he's had this week. He just looks so dejected and
I would
Fair
feel
enough.
like it too, but I think it was Martin Brundle was talking about it on the pre-race thing, and he said, they haven't, McLaren sort of haven't fulfilled their end of the bargain by giving him a car that works.
well, they didn't even build it around him. They built it around Lando.
Yeah, but I was listening to Lando Norris on the Beyond the Grid podcast from last week, and he's like, if people think that car's built around me, they're just as wrong. Lando reckons he hates the car just as much as Daniel does.
Really?
Yeah, they reckon the design concept's completely wrong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Their concept's definitely wrong, but
Yeah.
I thought it was lent more towards Norris.
No, he's like, I struggle with it just as much as Daniel does.
Do you know what
He's
it
like,
is?
I hate it just as much as he does.
Because they put those stupid Google covers
It's the Google covers.
on the freaking wheels, and
It's
then
the
it went to
Google
crap.
covers. Yeah.
I actually think the biggest problem with the McLaren is the Mercedes power unit. Because that Mercedes power unit, it's got to be either the second last or the worst power unit on the grid.
Yeah, but it wasn't last year.
No.
Last year, that Mercedes power unit got us a 1-2 at Monza and got us almost the win at Sochi.
For 3 races last year, McLaren were the fastest car on the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monza, Sochi, and whatever the race was after that, I think.
Yeah.
I reckon it's Zach Brown. He reminds me of the uncle that promised to take you to Disneyland, but instead took you behind the shed and touched you wrong.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
But there is actually more wrinkles to this story. Is that so Otmar Zafnauer came out during the week and was having a bit of a mouth flap about Oscar Piastri, saying that Oscar Piastri is going to be a great driver. It'd just be nice if he had more
Integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah.
So then Zach Brown came out and said Otmar Zafnauer is the last person who should talk about integrity because I think it was £500,000 and 15 points from when Otmar Zafnauer was team principal at Force India and they had the pink Mercedes.
Yeah.
But this is where the real wrinkle starts. Is that the rumours that it's not Piastri who's going to McLaren.
Is it Gasly?
That's the rumor, is that they're buying Gasly out of his AlphaTauri contract.
Which is why Gasly was backing out of the his year contract.
I
Yeah.
heard Alpine was doing that though too.
Yeah, no, it's McLaren that's trying to buy him out of his contract.
I heard Alpine was looking at buying Gasly out of his contract.
Also, today is the day they're going to court to decide if Piastri's contract is binding or not through the Regulatory Commission.
This is
So
gonna
we'll
be
find out
interesting.
by tomorrow morning when we wake up.
Imagine if McLaren don't go Piastri and then Alpine's like, well, you're not here, and he's just bottled. Where does he go?
Yeah.
If the
Or it has
contra-
to be Haas.
No, if the contract's binding, then Piastri's going to stay at Alpine.
But do they want him to?
But would they turn around and just say,
The
right, well, you
relation-
can sit on the sidelines for
Yeah.
another year?
The relationship soured. Like the minute he said, I am not racing for Alpine,
Yeah.
relationship was cut. It's gone.
Yeah. You can sit there as a test driver.
But
We'll
if
give
the
you one drive
but
a
if the
year.
contract's not binding and he's not going to McLaren, where's he going?
That's what I mean. Like everything pointed to it had to be McLaren because why would you give up that seat? Like without solid, like you
wonder
are
if-
racing for this team in that year.
Wonder if Daniel knows. Wonder if Daniel knows he's going there.
To Alpine.
No, well, why is he so dejected?
Oh, he's just
Maybe-
lost his
no,
seat.
no,
Now
no.
he's got to try and
No.
find
I think
a
it's
seat.
because he doesn't know if he's even going to have an F1 seat. That's
Does
why
he?
he's so dejected.
Yeah. Why is he so dejected if he thought he was so confident of getting the Alpine seat?
I don't think he is. That's
But-
why I think he's
But
dejected.
I don't. I don't think he has a seat.
I don't think
What?
he's
No.
spoken to anyone yet. I don't think he's been on the blower. He hasn't had...
No one's spoken to him. More important.
Apparently, Gunter Steiner has.
Oh, good to start. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, Haas...
And that's actually where I hope
Yeah.
he ends up.
Here's a curveball for you. Now you've just mentioned Gasly could possibly be going to McLaren. Could Ricciardo be going back to AlphaTauri? Because Christian Horner said that he'd take him back because they really had the good pairing.
Christian
and
Horner
it's a
also-
Red Bull, and he done well in Red Bull.
Christian Horner also said during the week, though, that Daniel doesn't look like the driver at Red Bull. He doesn't look like the driver that he knows. Not that he said it was very close to what's going
Well,
on.
yeah. Who
But he
takes,
just said Daniel doesn't look like the driver
But that
they
could
knew.
who
that
takes
could be-
Gasly's seat at AlphaTauri then?
It'd have to be Liam Lawson.
Yeah, Liam Lawson.
I wouldn't be against that.
No, I wouldn't either. I think he's done enough to...
Well, I mean, look at the 4 teams. There's 4 teams on the grid that have got an available seat. Alpine.
Mhm.
We're going to leave AlphaTauri out of it because we don't know what's going on with Gasly. But Alpine, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Williams.
Has been-
Alpine is the best chance he's got of being in a competitive car. And he said that in interviews. He wants to be in a competitive car that's fighting up the front.
Ricardo.
Yeah.
Well, Alpine is his best chance, but I don't think the door's like... Otherwise, I think they would have just gone... We would hear more about it. I honestly don't think they're going for Ricardo.
I think Zafnar is banking... Otmar Zafnar is banking on Piastri staying. But if the courts sit there and say, no, it's not, and he can go to McLaren or wherever, I think Zafnar is going to pursue Daniel Ricciardo and get Ricciardo.
Yeah, well, Otmar said earlier that when he spoke to the engineers and the mechanics that were with Renault when he was there, they're all happy with him and said that he's a really good asset to the team for the engineering side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny Rick. It would be the most comfortable option.
Yeah.
And
He
I'd
would
love
just
to
be
see
back
him.
around like old friends.
And I'd love to see him
In a
there, 'cause
competitive
I'd love
car.
to see him get a redemption shot, because this would be a sad way to see Ricciardo leave the grid completely, because he is immensely talented. He's great to be on the grid, but... And unfortunately, I do think it was the right decision for the McLaren.
yeah.
I think this is the right decision, but I really do hope Ricciardo does fall at an F1 seat, and I kind of see it being Haas, and the reason I see it being Haas is just because of the whole American market him thing. He might be happy there, you know. I just don't know if Alpine's going to go for Ricciardo. But at the same time, I don't know why Alpine would want to fight for Piastri at this point. If I was them, the only
Just
thing I would
wipe
fight for
your
is to keep
hands.
him, to make him reserve drive. I would, if you were going to fight to keep him.
Yeah,
were
just
you
a
really
spite
going
sort of thing.
Yeah,
Just go
are
stuff
you,
you.
and so no one else can have him, because otherwise, like, what are you going? You got to put him in the car. He's going to want to leave once his contract's up anyway. It's going to be sour in the like.
Well, you know, there is another Renault Academy driver on the grid.
On the grid, or do you mean was
On-
at the
on
grid
the-
at this race?
On the grid.
Yeah, Guan Yu Zhou.
Yeah.
He was.
Well, he still is. He's on loan to Alfa Romeo.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Much like what they were trying to do with Piastri to get him in Williams.
I did put Guan Yu Zhou to
So-
Alpine in my
So
mid-season special.
what if, in a long shot here, Alpine wins the court case and Piastri is bound to Alpine, but as a penalty, because they'll be petty about it, they keep him as reserve driver and go, you are not shopping around, and they bring back Zhou Guan Yu and put him in that Alpine.
Well, what if they put Piastri down into Alfa Romeo? Say we'll do a swap.
Oh no, I reckon they'll be really petty and
They
go,
are not going to let Piastri anywhere near a Formula One car if he is contractually bound to them still.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's not theirs, he's not going anywhere now.
Yeah.
Not
Just
now.
sort of a straight up you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He just told Alpine to go F themselves.
without, it looks a solid option. This is, if they've really not got the McLaren deal in the background, my God, what have they done? What has Mark Webber done to his career?
They have to, because why else would they? Well, they wouldn't be getting rid of Daniel Ricciardo until this contract fiasco is sorted.
Well, that's what I mean. That's another thing.
Yeah. What if Piastri is contractually bound to Alpine? Is Ricciardo still leaving?
Yeah, well, it has to now.
Yeah.
They've announced it.
Now they're gonna.
That's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
McLaren doesn't have their identified driver next, why make this cool now?
Stoffel Van Dorn's their reserve driver.
Hey, the dessert is back.
Bring
The dessert is back.
But I'd rather Gasly. If
Yeah.
Piastri can't go to McLaren, I want Gasly.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah.
Who's in the constructors? Who's in front? Is it McLaren or AlphaTauri?
McLaren.
What do you mean, Alpine?
Alpine.
Alpine's
No,
no.
No,
McLaren's ahead
because
of
I
AlphaTauri.
want to see like if it's going to be worth for Gasly to go to McLaren, then what is to stick. With
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be better for Gasly to go to McLaren than it would technically be for Piastri to go to McLaren.
Yeah, because
But-
Gasly needs to get out of the Red Bull
Yeah.
umbrella.
But at least it would get Piastri an F1 drive.
Yeah, I mean, Gasly needs to get out of that Red Bull system because he's never going to get another crack at the main team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liam Lawson has got a better shot at getting at the main team.
Could Piastri end up at AlphaTauri?
No.
I wouldn't mind seeing
For a year?
Piastri in the Red Bull system, but that would not. He would have to somehow get into the Red Bull system.
Well, AlphaTauri. There it is.
Well, Piastri replacing Sergio Perez at some point.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Gasly moves on, opens up the seat.
Gasly to McLaren, Piastri to AlphaTauri.
They go grab Piastri, put him in for a year in AlphaTauri. Perez's contract's up after next year. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yep.
Yep. They just see how it goes. They don't offer Perez an extension. Obviously, they're happy with that because Verstappen's going to dominate Perez. See how Perez goes another year. Piastri has a great year in AlphaTauri. Bang, he comes up and takes the other Red Bull seat. So they've got two. Like, you know what Red Bull's like. Even though Perez is doing a great job in their eyes, they're still very critical of Perez at times. And it's like they still want more out of their second driver, despite the fact that, hey, well, he's not taking points away from your love child.
Yeah, like
why
he's-
would you want someone
They
like
want
that? But
two
they seem
number
to.
one drivers.
He's stepping aside and letting your world champion number one driver
Yeah.
get all the wins and all the points.
But for some reason, it still feels like Red Bull still want that, like, I don't know, they want that second driver to be almost the same as Max Verstappen. And I'm like, that would just not work. But I don't know. Maybe that happens.
Look, I think that McLaren has signed Piastri.
They have to have.
Yeah, Ricardo's. Yeah, Ricardo's going to Alpine. Piastri's going to
Yeah,
McLaren.
it's
the only logical option.
I mean, I don't think Haas can afford Daniel Ricciardo, and everyone keeps saying, "Oh, he'll take a pay cut and whatever," and I just ding myself there. But I don't think Haas can afford him.
I think he'll have to. I'll be honest. I don't know if Alpine will. I would love to see Ricciardo at Alpine, and I would take that option. But for some reason, I don't know if that's what Alpine's looking for, because part of them also might feel like McLaren stole Piastri of them to give them their leftovers for the bloke who left them. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Even
that
though
does
he's
make sense.
appreciated at the team and they would love him
And
there.
Saf now strikes me as the guy that would hold a grudge like that.
Yes.
He seems super salty about this situation.
That's
too.
right. He is. So, he in his eyes, it might make him look foolish bringing Ricciardo back. Like, you got spat on by McLaren. They took your future in Piastri and they gave you who they didn't want in Ricciardo. Ha ha. You know what I mean? They might not want that tag. So they might not be in for Ricciardo at all. Haas might be going, well, Ricciardo's a great driver. American market, be great for us. They might not be able to. He's not going to get the money he got at McLaren.
He's not getting
hot
30
property
million.
at the moment.
He's not getting 25 million.
Yeah.
he's going to get half. He's going to get 15 million.
He's going to get, way
Your
less money.
salary, like any football player, any soccer player, any sportsman, your salary is based on your current performance.
Yes.
You don't sign $1 million halfback if, you don't sign Kalen Ponga for... Sorry, Newcastle. You don't sign Kalen Ponga for $1.5 million a season at this point.
Yes.
The same reason you're not going to sign Daniel Ricciardo to a $30 million contract
But
when he hasn't cracked the,
he's
top
just got
5 all year.
He just got fired from his high-paying seat position. But
Exactly.
what Haas could offer is, hey, sponsorship deals in America. You know what I mean? Attractive sponsorship, and that's why they might also be attracted to bringing Ricciardo in.
Well, that's the main reason why Haas has got Mick Schumacher, because he brings in all of the sponsorship that his old man had,
Yeah.
which I think he's got more sponsorship than Daniel Ricciardo does.
Of course he does. But
I think the best thing for Ricciardo is at least he's got 2 bites. He seems to have 2 bites at the cherry here. He either lands at Alpine or he lands at Haas.
yeah,
At least that keeps him in Formula One because Kevin Magnussen can go whenever. Which
Yes.
is bad because K-Mag's done a brilliant job.
Well,
He has,
K-Mag has got a contract until the end of next year.
Yeah, right. So Danny Rick's going to have
Well,
to...
I mean, we keep discounting Williams. Maybe Williams will throw some cash at him to bring him in because they need someone of experience to develop that car.
yeah, I'd happily have him there.
Yeah.
I really don't think a team's going to have to throw as much money at him as you're thinking. I think he's going to have, if he wants to be in F1, he's
Yeah.
going to have to take a pay cut.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's
he-
what he realizes.
Yeah, and I think he realises that. Otherwise, he looks so dejected because he's never had this situation. Daniel Ricciardo's always been a hot property. Like he's
Yeah.
always been a driver everyone wants. He went from Red Bull where he was great. Everyone wanted Ricciardo. Now no one really wants him. Maybe the lower teams might find a spot for him. I think he knows that based on his performance. I don't think Ricciardo's not aware of his situation. But the one seat that's available that might be not be able to offer him a huge amount of money up front, but maybe there might be other sponsorship deals that they can twine where he gets a fair large bit of the kitty, is Haas. He's so popular in America.
Yeah.
That would be great for him.
He lives
be
in
great
America.
for Haas.
He's
Like
got his house in LA.
Haas is the time right now. Is the time for Haas to build them as the American. Like Andretti's trying to get in, and Haas is being thrown a lifeline by everyone saying, "No, we don't want Andretti," which is crap, by the way. But
Yeah.
this is the time Haas need to be going. Okay, well, we need to be the American team. We've got 3 races in America. That I think they're pushing for Vegas to finish the last race next year.
No, second last.
Second last.
They want it before Abu Dhabi.
Show me the track map. Show me the track map.
It's a 2-kilometer straight
The
kilometer
only...
strip.
I mean, and this is probably going to be a news item, but the only good thing about Vegas coming in is that Spa is still here next year.
Thank God for that.
They confirmed that Spa's in 2023,
Yes.
so at least it's not replacing Spa with a Vegas street track, but that was my worry.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask each one of you.
Mhm.
I'm going to say the driver. You tell me the team that he's going to end up with next year, okay? So we're going to go with Piastri. JB. McLaren. Longhorn.
AlphaTauri.
Barry.
Oh, it all depends on the court case. If he can go somewhere, I reckon McLaren. If not, reserve driver again.
All right. Ricardo. JB.
Alpine.
Longhorn.
Haas.
Barry.
Alpine.
Alpine. Right. Okay. Coolly. Next news story. Audi is entering F1 as an engine supplier in 2026.
That's epic.
Finally confirmed.
Awesome.
Although I saw the livery and I thought they were bringing a works team in.
Aren't they?
Ah.
I saw like they had a whole concept livery, man, and you don't drop a livery if you're just an engine supplier.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they've said
They're
They-
buying Sauber, aren't they?
Yeah,
Well,
aren't they buying something?
Alfa Romeo has already confirmed they're leaving.
well, that was supposed to be the next news story.
We're combining
Yep,
two.
let's
Yeah, let's go.
So 2020 end of 2023, Alfa Romeo are leaving Sauber. They're departing from Sauber.
My outlook on this is, isn't Audi buying Sauber,
Yeah, they're buying 75% of Sauber.
but they won't be the Audi F1 works team until 2026. They
Yeah.
might be like Sauber Audi running Ferrari engines until 2026.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
And a lot of teams seem to be having a bit
What
of a
about
cracker.
Porsche officially announced?
No, not yet.
But-
But Porsche are
Porsche-
buying 50% of Red Bull powertrains.
Yeah, so that's going to be the next announcement.
Now, this is where a lot of teams, Toto Wolff, are cracking up, is because if Audi is buying Sauber, for just to sort of cut the words out, buying Sauber's running Ferrari engines. Audi is going to get their hands on Ferrari power units and be able to develop their engine, their power unit, from Ferrari power units that they're using.
So they're not sort of starting from scratch.
So what?
And Porsche buying Red Bull powertrains is going to get their hands on that tasty little Honda power unit that Red Bull's currently using and use that to develop their power unit. And Toto Wolff is cracking up because he's like, oh, they're getting a head start by using existing power units illegally to develop their own power units.
It's not illegal. Good on them. It's smart. Why wouldn't you do it this way?
Well, what Toto Wolff fails to acknowledge is that so when the V6 turbo hybrid era started,
The Mercedes era, you mean?
yeah, 2014.
Yeah.
So Porsche had developed a power unit, specifically a V6 engine, internal combustion engine. Apparently, this thing was a beast. But then the whole issue with VW and falsifying eco levels or whatever put the kibosh on it. They still have that engine. So Audi has got that engine, and they're making that. That is their power unit now. That engine plus all the stuff that comes off it.
The kinetic.
Kinetic.
The bigger kinetic battery, but no heat unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't understand with Toto Wolff's comments is why, if you don't want this to happen, then why are you rejecting other teams to come on the grid like Andretti? How else do they get on the grid if they don't buy an existing team? If you're not going to allow new teams on the grid?
Well,
he's got an issue with the power unit, not buying the team.
Yeah, no, he's got the issue with Audi possibly using Ferrari supplied engines to Sauber
Because they've bought it now,
Yeah,
rather than, say, buying it in 2026
yeah,
and having to just enter their new engine.
yeah. And he's got a problem with Porsche buying Red Bull powertrains because they'll have access to the Honda power unit that Red Bull is currently winning the championship with.
I've
So
got a
instead of
problem with
coming
Toto
in
Wolff.
and having to iron out the creases for 3 years and then be competitive 2029, they're coming in and they have something half decent that they know it's going to work.
Yeah, they've got plenty of lead time so that when they come into F1, they're going to be competitive. And Audi has said during their press conference when they announced that they showed off their livery and everything that they don't aim to be winning races in the first couple of years, but they aim to be at least in the midfield, which is realistic.
Yeah.
That's a realistic goal.
Yeah.
I think Toto Wolff's problem.
Competition.
Is he doesn't like competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want competition. It's like his reasoning for shooting down Andretti United joining F1 is because it means less money for the other teams.
Yeah, but
Despite the fact that Andretti has said we'll put up the $200 million entry fee.
And that's what the entry fee's for.
Yeah, and it gets split between the teams that are already there.
Exactly, that's what it's for. It's for the first few years they come in, whatever revenue could potentially be lost, that team has put it up, so the teams don't lose out. And then hopefully in the next few years, that team brings in that extra, income to continue. That's what the $240 million is for.
Yeah,
You know the best part about Mercedes struggling this year is we haven't seen any of Toto Wolff around the press conferences, or Lewis for that matter. I haven't seen him on the podium. He's not around the press conferences. He's not getting a microphone shoved in his face every 30 seconds like last year. He's just acting really salty, like anything that's an obstacle towards Mercedes going into the future, knowing that Mercedes is already partially struggling with these new regs. He hates it. He doesn't want any part of it.
Yeah.
But
He's
if
like,
they
it's
tried-
already hard enough.
If they tried to ask
It's like,
Lewis,
oh, it's competition. It's called Formula One.
Yeah.
if they
It's
tried
called
to
a
ask,
motor race, Toto.
We had a motor race, Toto.
if they tried to ask Lewis a question the other day, it sounded like Kenny from South Park because with his headpiece that he had on, you wouldn't be able to understand him anyway. How you feeling today, Lewis?
What? That
Did you-
I'm trying not to.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Don't. You see how like, you see how upset Hamilton? Like, you can totally feel that because it was his sort of fault to have the incident and get knocked out. He sounded so upset, like he was like, I've got to be so sorry for the team because you can just tell like Toto would want to kill him. It's like, oh, sorry, I've only won 7 world championships. I'm sorry that I, crashed out in one race in a year where we're not even in it for the title. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could just see, like, in his words, like, how sorry he has to be that he's not winning because Toto.
Yeah,
Well,
I
Toto-nate
think,
him,
I think
you know,
he was
like-
more. He would have been sadder about that than if Roscoe had died.
It seemed like it. That's what it seemed like. Roscoe had died.
Yeah. But, like, Toto is just so used to winning championships and winning races that he's just become this absolute sooky bitch that can't handle it.
100%. And great for Mercedes for all those years. You did it. Hooray. We're now
It
in
happens to every
2022.
team. I mean,
Yeah.
it happened to Williams, it happened to McLaren, it happened to Ferrari, it happened to Benetton, it happened to Red Bull. It happens. It happened to Lotus.
Everybody goes through dark times, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yours is coming.
and, then it brings it back to the Lewis Hamilton fanboys who sit there and say, oh, they nerfed our team because of the new regulations because they couldn't beat us. Well, it's
Yeah.
not the first time it's happened. It happened to Ferrari in the 2000s.
It always
It
happens in
happened to
Formula
the Red
One.
Bull.
You know, you have to do something to make the sport interesting again because if you keep going along with Lewis Hamilton nerfing everyone by 200 miles, people tune out and tune into IndyCar or British Touring Car or World Endurance or MotoGP or something that's actually got racing with overtaking and not just Lewis Hamilton streaking off into the distance.
Yeah, changing the regs turns Formula One into one of the hottest sports on the planet right now. If you just let it be Mercedes show, in 5-6 years' time, how big do you think Formula One's going to be? If we're still talking about Mercedes
didn't-
driving off 30 seconds up the road.
And they didn't nerf the team because you got caught in 2021 in the last year of the regulations. Red
Yeah.
Bull caught you. They didn't nerf your team and didn't change the regulations to stop you winning.
Yeah. And they changed the
Max-
regulations for everyone. Everyone has to adapt to them.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just a penalty to Mercedes. The whole grid has to
Yeah.
abide by it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And-
just
and,
Toto
like,
being Toto.
Yeah.
He's just being a salty little lala.
Yeah.
Because he's not on camera as much now, so he's just got to say dumb shit to, like...
Just got to whinge.
He's just got to whinge to stay relevant in the headlines. Toto says dumb shit. Sky Sports. You gotta shatter that glass.
No, I'm not. I got it from Hungry Jack's, mate. They build them a lot better than the ones from Macca's.
Nice McLaren colours on that glass, too.
Yeah, I know. That's your glass.
What
It's
is
the
it over
McLaren
there?
Cup.
Yeah, it's your Macca Club.
It is my
Club.
Macca
Club.
cup. Macca club.
God. So, Barry,
Yes.
are you going to do your segment tonight, or?
Yes, I will.
All right, it's time for your segment, and I can't even remember what we called it.
Should I stay or should I go?
Yes.
Should I stay or should I go now?
First one is someone we all love. I think I already know the answer to this one. It's got nothing to do with Formula One. Should Kimi stay in NASCAR?
He only had a one-race deal. I'd love to see him stay in NASCAR.
He said he's staying. They
Is he
reckon.
staying?
They reckon that he's going to stay on.
I read that he only had a one-race deal, like that was a train and trial sort of race. And he was doing good, too.
Yeah.
He was up in like 7th spot when he got taken out. Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime that Kimi Räikkönen is on my TV screen, in whatever sport, he should be there.
Yeah, Kimi should be in any car he can be in at the moment.
Yep.
Look, I'd prefer to see him in IndyCar, but seeing Kimi racing and enjoying
I don't want to
is worth
see.
it.
I don't want to see Kimi like having one of those oval crashes, man. I don't.
He wouldn't have it.
Everyone in IndyCar has an oval crash.
He wouldn't have it because it's Kimi. It's Kimi, mate. Bullets slide off him.
I've seen
The
too
Ice
many.
Man.
He's the Iceman.
I'm waiting for Scotty McLaughlin to have one. I'm waiting for Roman Grosjean to have one.
Oh, Grosjean will have one for sure.
All right. Next question.
Next question. This is a yes or a no. Pineapple on pizza.
Yes.
No.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Love it.
absolutely.
All right. This one.
I love that none of these are Formula One related.
No, no.
I thought
These. The
Welcome
rest.
to the F1 chat random questions.
The rest of them are. All right. So this one's more about with the salary cap sort of thing. So imagine if instead of being like 200 million per team, it was sort of like 100 million per car. Is everyone open to the ideas of teams having more than 2 cars in? So like a Red Bull having a 3-car team, and same as Ferrari,
kind of like
or
Ferrari
Mercedes.
having 3 cars back in like the 70s.
Yeah, something like that, just to add numbers to the field, make it a bit more interesting.
No, teams don't need more cars. We need more teams.
But the amount,
And everyone's whinging that they want the cost cap raised anyway.
but the amount of drivers that are coming up that deserve a top tier team.
We need more
To open
teams.
up
We
for
need
something
more.
like
we
that.
need more teams. We don't need more cars.
Yeah,
Like,
we need more
you
cars
know.
from the teams we get. But
Yeah,
we need more teams.
Yeah, you know how hard it'd be to run a 3-car team in Formula One.
Yeah.
3 different strategies with like 1 pit crew.
Imagine
Guys,
Ferrari.
oh my God, Madonna would hang himself.
3 cars, 3 strategies,
You
and then
think,
implode.
you think a double stack's bad?
Triple
A
stack.
triple stack. It'd be like the Tyrrell. It'd be like the Tyrrell having to change 6 times.
It was a mistake.
Yeah. It would be like, you know, when Hungry Jack's or Macca's release like their triple stack Whoppers every now and then. It's
Yeah.
like, it's the best thing ever, but it shouldn't be available all the time or we would all die.
It's like changing truck tires like 16 times.
Yeah, it's the motoring equivalent of dying from a cholesterol-based heart attack. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think teams need more cars. We need more teams.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, do you reckon the rules should be changed so all the Formula One teams have to say yes for a team to come in?
I don't think the Formula One team should get to vote.
Well,
It should.
Andretti, we literally just Andretti got rejected because of illogical reason.
I reckon it should be down to the FIA. If they think that team can...
Well, I'm pretty sure the FIA were the ones that said no.
No, there was
The
9.
FIA said we're not looking to expand the grid when they absolutely should be.
Well, that's it. Like, if you have a crash on the first lap and then you have 5 or 6 cars out, well, then you're down to a 14-car field, and it's
but
boring.
9 of the Formula One teams say no. Don't they vote? They get to vote on it. It's not just the FIA.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they vote on it.
Yeah, and they all 9 teams said no.
And I don't
That's the
understand
problem.
why.
That's the
Yeah.
because they want more, of course they're going to say no because they want their share of the money. That's all they're thinking about.
Also, I don't think it was the FIA. It was Liberty Media that said no.
Why?
They said we don't want to because they see they don't see the teams on the grid as teams. They see them as franchises like the NFL,
This is what happens when you have an American company.
and they want people to buy the already existing franchises rather than start their own.
Yeah, but even in the NFL with franchises they expand.
We get new franchises.
Yeah.
They relocate.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I could imagine Andretti buying, say, Haas and then moving it to Oakland or LA.
Have it,
Like
Walker
the Lakers
Insurance-
got bought and moved to LA.
Yeah.
But it's not
It
like...
became a dynasty.
It's not like we've won the lotto and decided, yeah, we're just going to create a Formula One team.
Andretti had
it's
merit.
a team that's
Like,
been
you've
around
got
for so long.
You've got to present what you're going to do. And Andretti ticked all the boxes.
Yeah. They should have been
And-
in. They should have been in.
And before them, it was Carlin.
Yeah,
it
Carlin
Carlin?
got rejected in 2018 trying to come up from Formula 2.
Has Penske ever put something forward?
No, but I said last week in the mid-season special we need a Ford Penske team based in America.
Yeah, because they've got all the dollars in the world, and
Ford's
they've-
got all the dollars in the world, man.
yeah.
And Chevrolet, they need to come in too.
Yeah, Chevy.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
General Motors has got so much money, that's why they shut down Holden.
Yeah, and now they're all Chevrolets.
Yeah.
Hope you're happy. All you people in
No.
your unit caps putting Chevy badges on your Commodores, your fault. I saw you raise there. I was about to drop the F-bomb too. I'm trying to be really good tonight.
I was bracing for impact, man. I was getting there.
What they need to fix is Ferrari getting
bad strategy calls.
Yes.
Ferrari
It's a
just needs to fix
mistake.
themselves.
Ferrari needs to not be getting the bloody payments they get just for being Ferrari.
Oh, the legacy
Yeah, legacy
bonus.
payments. Scrap all that and just go back to divvying it up depending on how you finish in the constructors.
Well,
Like it
that's-
should. Reward for where you finish. And if another team wants to come in and they can tick all the boxes and everyone wants it, which we do, the Formula 1 team should not be able to vote on a new team. Of course they're going to say no. Like, what? Of course they're going to say no. They shouldn't even get to... Why should it be their decision? It should be simply down to, I guess, the FIA. And do they tick all the boxes? If they
Andretti
do, why
ticked all
can't
the
we have them in?
boxes. Yeah, why is Andretti not putting a... Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna ding myself here. Okay, so brace yourself here. But as far as
Sorry, you got to click the explicit button again this week, bro.
but as far as I'm concerned, money talks and walks, and
We didn't actually say
I
it.
swear, what
Yeah, I
did
know.
you just do that for then?
because I wanted to cover up.
It's a bit fucking silly.
I was behaving too. That's why I dinged it, so I didn't have to say the word.
We're like an hour and something into this podcast. I haven't sworn once.
Even when we try not to swear, I swear the ding's still up to like 40 odd.
I'm pretty sure that was my first fuck up, so. Sorry.
Who bring the ring in? You're lucky those pork sandwiches were nice.
Otherwise, you'd be like,
All right,
your
what's your
shit.
what's your
Yeah,
fifth
get out.
question?
Yeah.
You got one more question?
No, I got two more. So we were talking about this earlier, about how good it was that the sand traps have come back. My next one is the asphalt runoffs. Should they piss off or should they like stay there?
Well, I was of the opinion that I don't know. How much does it cost to replace asphalt with sand? Because
Just rip it out.
just the little upgrade Spa did was like $100 million.
well,
Yeah, but that was Eau Rouge as well, and they built a brand new grandstand there as well.
Yeah.
That's a big grandstand that they built.
I don't mind track limits, and if you pull the track limits in so drivers can't just run off on the asphalt and take advantage,
Bring back the sausage
I'm
curve.
more for that. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
asphalt-
kind of more
there's-
for that. Like,
There's not enough of a penalty running on asphalt, but you know, it's just part of something. You can't do it at every track.
Well, I think one track in mind that I don't think is any longer on the calendar. Paul Ricard
Yeah.
needed gravel traps.
oh yeah,
That's a track that needed gravel traps.
As
That-
Kimmy said when he
that
first
track's
went
not
off when
coming
they
back,
went
though.
there, where am I supposed to be going?
Yeah, it's got, I think, 150 different layout configurations, and you sit there and look at the track and go, that's the best one they could come up with?
Well, yeah, it is because everything else is like a giant S band.
yeah.
No, but I mean, like, you've got that big long straight, and then it goes into that stupid chicane,
Yeah.
and then it rejoins back onto the straight.
Yeah. The only reason that chicane's there is because it has to be.
Well,
Any straight's longer than 2 kilometers.
what
under
I'd like
FIA
to
rules
see,
needs a
what I'd
chicane.
like to see them do is before it gets to that that chicane, if you look on the right, there's actually a little turn off, and then it turns onto that chicane anyway. So it's like probably a 20 or 30 degree turn to the right,
Yeah.
and then onto. Use that.
It doesn't matter. It's not coming back.
I reckon they should put a ramp there.
What's the longest
Jump ramp.
Yeah.
Sausage curbs across it.
You need to go into
Like-
the airport runway next to it and just drag race the planes.
Yeah.
It's like the Austrian one where they were all breaking their suspension with the little
The sausage
dugga
curves, the badunkadunks.
the badunkadunks.
Maybe they just need track long badunkadunks everywhere.
Yeah. You go
Yeah,
off, it's your fault.
But because
Technically.
MotoGP uses a lot of these tracks,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
the problem.
riders, it's dangerous for the riders to use the badonkadonks.
Yeah,
But you
if a
can make them
motorbike hits that.
removable. Pull them out, unbolt them.
It's like 3,000 of them around the track.
It's all right. That's
Johnny, your job today is to remove all the badunkadunks. It's
That's what track
like, yeah, I'll be
marshals-
back in a sec. I'm just going to my trailer.
Get a shovel
Get
so I
the
can remove the badonkadonks.
What's the longest straight in the Formula One at the moment? Is it still Monza or is it Azerbaijan?
Yeah, that front straight at
Baku, I think,
Azerbaijan's probably got it. Yeah, because the cars are maxing out at like 350 down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the longest straight is Azerbaijan's front
Yeah.
straight.
Right. So my last question. This is one that I've always said that I strongly believe it should be available is tyre allocations. Should all the tyres be available to all the teams? So instead of saying you have a medium and a hard, they should be allowed, if they want to go softs, they can go softs. If they want to go hard,
They changed that rule this year.
So they can...
You can start on whatever...
What he means is that Pirelli...
all of them.
Yeah, like, what he means is Pirelli bring, like, the C5 all the way to the C1.
Oh, you want C5s.
And you can pick whatever ones you want.
You want to use.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think if you're going to have 5 compounds...
You can have 5 different coloured tyres and...
Yeah.
Oh, look, I
don't mind that.
I sort of go back to how it was in the 90s where going into the race, you had to pick what ones you wanted. Like, if you've got the C5, which I think the C5 is the softest.
C5 is the...
hardest, isn't it?
Hardest.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And the C1 is the softest. So we'll base it on there. That I think the teams have to pick in advance the 3 compounds they want
From the 5?
from the 5.
Yeah, I want to bring a C1, a C2, and a C4. I don't want it, like, in stagnant.
Yeah.
Or I want a C5, a C4, and a C1. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to...
Yeah.
I'd be for that.
Instead of like, everyone just gets to pick between 3, 4, and 5 how many you want.
Yeah,
they can
and
go,
C1,
you get your choice
and
from
all 5 of them
1
have a
through to
different
5.
colour, so the teams will know which compound you bought because, you know,
Yeah.
C5 will have
colours.
white, and then yellow, and then red, and then what did they have? They had purple at one
Yeah,
stage.
the super softs.
Yeah, so maybe
And
C1
the
could
hyper
be...
soft.
Yeah, the pinks were the hyper soft.
Yeah, right, there you go. So
Purple
purple.
was super soft,
So
wasn't it?
C1's pink. No, C1's purple. C2's pink. C3's red. C4's yellow, and C5's white.
Yep, I'd
Yeah.
be cool with
And,
that.
they'll know what compound you bought because they can just correspond the colours.
Yeah. And I mean, that way it gives us a more strategic element to the tyre choice by the teams.
But you can only bring 2 of those compounds. You can't bring all 5. Or would you bring all 5?
No, you couldn't
Well,
bring all 5. You got to pick 3 out of the 5.
Yeah.
I reckon the way I look at it is you're allowed 10 sets of tyres. Let's just say you get 10 sets of tyres for the whole weekend, but you get to pick what 10 sets you want to bring yourself.
So if you want to bring 10 sets of like the hypersofts,
That's
that's
all,
on you.
That's it. That's it. By the time practice is finished, well, you've burnt through pretty much all of them.
I am
'Cause
all
they've
for
got no
this.
life.
All for this because it just makes more of
Yeah.
the chance I get to hear Ferrari say, it's a mistake.
It's a mistake.
to Charles Leclerc because they put the wrong time.
We're putting the hypersofts on for a
While
fast
Charles
lap.
Leclerc is sitting there going, no. I reckon you could take him going, no, I'm not going to try and do it again. And just stick it over Darth Vader on episode 3 of Star Wars.
Yeah. No.
No.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
That would work.
Yes. To answer your question,
They should be
Yes.
allowed.
I agree.
absolutely. Yeah, I like
I
that.
think that would change the strategies up, make it a bit more interesting.
5
and-
different compounds, 5 different colours of tyres. You bring 3 sets you want to bring for the weekend.
Could you imagine if Red Bull absolutely cucked it up, but then Williams absolutely nailed it?
That's what,
And
that's
they
what I
just
want to see.
dominate for the whole
let's-
weekend.
Hang on, let's make it a little bit more accurate. Ferrari screw it
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
and Williams take advantage of
And,
it.
Yeah.
and Aston Martin get a podium because they got this tyre set.
Now
right.
let's
Like-
not
Yeah,
completely.
okay.
Let's not be
go on.
crazy here, guys.
Yeah, let's not completely the bed. God, this is a great gimmick. This every time we go to swear, just
I'm going to swear so much next episode.
I'm not sure if the listeners are going to enjoy hearing that every single time.
that's why I put it there because it's not going to be too deafening.
It's pretty deafening in my
deafening.
headphones.
Yeah.
man.
To Johnny, the next one's not going to be the F1 podcast. It's going to be the Fuck One podcast.
No, I'm not.
At least your mum's going to like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's not going to like the dinging.
the old dragon lady.
No one's going to like the dinging. Alright.
They will like
gonna-
the digging or else.
She's going to hear the dinging and think that they're sharpening swords back in 1633.
Oh, wow. Well, that escalated fast.
She's going to
didn't
be
it?
like, they're pulling out the spears to come get me.
She's not that old.
You sure?
I don't know.
Oh, oh, them's fighting words. Oh,
We'll settle this later.
She was one of the people that voted for the name The Wheel.
Oh my god. That is hurting my ears.
It's not that loud.
My headphones are like levels are up more than yours.
That's on you.
I didn't think you were tapping a glass all podcast.
Yeah, I know. I didn't tell anyone. I only thought of it mid-episode.
This is going to be annoying listening to in my car on Friday. Ting.
You've been looking around going, what's wrong with my car?
I think I'd rather us just swear at this point. Than
Yeah, but you don't have to click the explicit button as
He
much.
does.
I do.
Yeah.
Barry's already said fuck like 20 times.
Sorry.
I needed to get that out.
How'd you get one in?
Let's get one in. All right, can we just move on to the standings
Right,
now?
so we're moving on to the standings. Right, so who wants to do the driver's standings? Normally I just throw it to someone who is completely unexpected, so who wants it?
Barry wants it. He doesn't come here.
Yeah,
enough.
Barry.
All right, driver standings. Max Verstappen, 284. Perez, 191. He's moved up. Leclerc has moved down, as we would have all expected, with 186. Sainz has moved up to 171. Russell is 170. Lewis is just stuck on the same old 146. Lando's sitting on 76. Ocon is 64. Alonso's 51. And Bottas has gone down with 46.
And JB, you can do the team standings.
All right. On top after the Belgian Grand Prix is Red Bull Racing, 475 points. In second is Ferrari, 357 points. In third is Mercedes with 316 points. Fourth is Alpine on 115 points. Fifth is McLaren on 95 points. Sixth is Alfa Romeo on 51 points. Seventh is Haas on 34 points. Eighth is AlphaTauri on 29 points. Ninth is Aston Martin on 24 points. And bringing up the rear, but gaining a point this week, Williams with 4 points.
Yeah, baby! Come on!
Upper!
Get in there, Alex.
Get up, or Alex.
Right. So, that's our analysis of the Belgian F1. We will be back next week with the Dutch F1 from Zandvoort.
Yes.
Like, the race is from Zandvoort. We're not going to be at Zandvoort.
That
But the
would be
race,
cool.
Unfortunately, yeah. That
That would be pretty badass.
Yeah.
yeah,
Having
that'd be
some
great.
Belgian waffles, watching Max Verstappen dominate.
Next year, we're going to do one from a race.
We're going to have to.
We're going to have to do it.
We'll see how we go.
Where are we going?
We're locking it in. We're doing it.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
Vegas
Wouldn't that
Street
be? Yeah.
Yeah, Melbourne.
Well, we're going to do Melbourne. We have to hurry up. They've already announced the dates.
Yeah, but I haven't released the tickets.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
on the emailing list for tickets, actually. I'll keep you posted.
I think I am too.
We'll go down and watch it from Prince Albert Park
Prince
with the scraper.
My mate Albert actually does live in Melbourne too.
I thought you were going to say he has a Prince Albert. I'm like, how do you know?
I do think he listens to the podcast. So, Swamp Donkey, how you going? Give us a call sometime. I haven't spoken to you in a while, but right. So,
Get that away.
right. So after I've just amused these people, I'm not putting those photos up on YouTube. Either,
You
by
missed
the
your
way.
chance.
But speaking of chances, there are plenty of chances for you to be able to listen to the F1 chat. The first way is on YouTube, where you can look up the F1 chat. It's care of the Vindicator 18 channel. On Facebook, you can interact with us on the F1 chat.
Tell us that Phil's dinging noise is terrible. And if he brings that glass next week, I'm going to put it somewhere where he can't find it. Actually, I'll put it somewhere where he can very easily find it, but he won't like it.
What, in the bin?
Yes.
You leave my
In
dog
the
out of
bin.
this, all right?
In the bin.
And if you have any of your own questions or
Shoot us, yeah,
your own
comments.
opinions, send a message. Just
Put a comment on the
anything.
show link. Put a comment on the YouTube link. I think you can actually message us on Messenger
Yep.
because our page is linked to our profiles.
Yep.
Yes.
We will get your question through on Messenger
Yep.
and we'll answer it.
If there's something that you'd
Interact.
like us to talk about as well, if you have something that's
Pineapple
awesome,
does belong on pizza.
Yeah, let us
Yeah.
know all about it.
Or the return of the dinging.
Yeah.
We're not bringing the digging back.
Not happy.
Yeah.
I'm
Let
pretty
us-
sure you burst my eardrums, man. My
Let-
levels are like, don't. And you can also interact with us on Twitter
Yeah.
at the F1 Chat 1.
Let us
Um,
know if you like us saying fuck
Speaking
or
of
not.
1 in the AM was me this morning putting the race notes up. So if you want live interaction with me, telling me why you awake at 1 AM on a Monday morning, that's me on Twitter.
That is the F1 Chat 1. Don't forget the 1.
Don't forget the 1.
One.
And then on
one is for 1 AM.
Just don't ask him if he's wearing
C,
pants.
C is for cookie.
I wasn't wearing pants.
We didn't need to know.
Ding the thing!
No. He'll hurt me.
Is the pantsless pirate.
I won't hurt you, the glass will.
Hey. I'm trying to do this. Spotify on the F1 Chat. So that is our episode for this week. I want to thank JB, Longhorn, and the returning Barry R. Enchilada.
You coming back next week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, hopefully.
Can you bring more pork?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Oh,
might.
I was going
Pork
to
and beers.
make some burgers.
Oh.
Or
Well, I was,
burgers? Yeah,
I
we'll
was
make
thinking
them.
of swapping it out instead of pulled pork, maybe doing up like a brisket or something.
I'll make some burgers.
Yeah.
We'll alternate.
Yeah,
You know, I don't mind.
make an event of it.
Yeah. Here we are discussing personal stuff on the podcast.
That's not the first time we've done that.
That's true. I mean, last week we were talking about the fish crapping.
Goldfish
Let's
doing.
not go there again.
Yes.
How good are fish finger sandwiches?
They are pretty good with mayo.
No, tomato sauce.
Oh,
No,
vinegar.
mayo.
And next week I'll see if I can find some goldfish teeth to show you.
We can't show it on the. Oh, we can show it on the YouTube video.
In the podcast.
Goldfish.
So, right.
Can you also show Phil how they defecate? So, I tried to explain that to him last week too. All right, I'm done. See you next week in Zandvoort.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Well, fucking hello out there in internet land. I just want to put
Welcome to
that
the fucking F1 chat. I'm now fucking host.
welcome to the bloopers.
Fucking Phil Lamington.
The fucking F1 chat. Lick me where I shit, cunt.
Less swearing, you fucking dickheads.
Fuck you, you slippery gypsy.
This is why Spotify hates us.
Yeah, I have to click explicit every time I upload. I'm like, oh.